Okay, today we're learning how to play b001e0. Alright, so when you start off, you randomly deal some bits across the middle. Normally you play with 5 or 6, but for this demonstration I'm just going to use 4. Okay, and then let's say these cards down here are in my hand. Okay, when it's your turn, first thing you do is draw a card. And then you play one of your cards. Okay, so if I had these 5 gates in my hand, I want to play them, and my goal is to build a pyramid coming down, and whoever completes their pyramid first wins. All right, so for example, I could play one of these gates here, and it takes in 2 inputs. So you play it in between 2 of the bits facing downwards. Takes 2 inputs, and 1 or 1 is indeed 1. Now there's a cheat sheet that comes with the game in case you don't remember your Boolean logic values or if you've never studied those, okay? But for or 1 is equal to 1, so I can place that here. Now this card I could also place here because 0 or 1 is also 1. For those who are not familiar with Boolean logic, zeros are false, ones are true. So false or true is still true, so I can play that there. Also here, true or false is also still true. But if these were flipped for some reason, then I couldn't play that there because 0 or 0 is 0. Good, okay. So notice there's nowhere along my side here where I could play this. If my opponent had this card, they could play that there because 0 or 0 is 0, okay? And my opponent is trying to build a pyramid in this direction, so good. All right, this and 0, however, I could play here because true and false is false. So I could play that there, I could play that there, but I could not play it here. For this XOR 1 card, I could play that here because 1 XOR 0 is 1. I could play it here, 0 XOR 1 is 1. But I could not play it here because 1 XOR 1 is 0. Okay, so on your turn you play 1 card. All right. Okay, and then these are my cards. You know, maybe my opponent plays a card, great. They get, XOR 1. Then on my turn, I draw a 5th card, and then I play a card. So maybe I play the and 0 here. Okay. My opponent draws a card, good, they can play that. I draw a card, XOR 1, well that I can play that right there, so I play that. My opponent plays a card, they got an OR 1, okay, good. All right, now I have to move my hand here because I need to start building down the middle. So I've got this one again. Now I'm building off of my previous gates. 0 or 1 is 1, so I can play that card there. And I'm pretty close to finishing my pyramid. Okay, good. All right, my opponent, XOR 0, great, they can play that there. All right, or 0, well, I can't play that anywhere, however, I can play this XOR 1 there. Okay, good. Now I'm in a little bit of a dilemma because I need to play a final card here. You can't see it. I need to play a final card. I need to play a final card at the bottom of my pyramid. However, I have an XOR 0 and I could play that. That's a legitimate white 1. XOR 1 is 0. But the goal, your final value, needs to match the bit on your far right that's facing you. So I need to shoot for a 1. All of my cards over here are 0s. So right now I can't finish. So on my turn I would draw a card and can't play anything, so I would just go ahead and discard something off to the side. Okay? And I would keep playing until I got something. Oh, I still can't do that. Keep discarding. XOR 1, well, unfortunately here, with my XOR 1, I can't play that because 1 XOR 1 is 0, so I can't play that. But what I could do is I could choose to replace one of my other gates. I could play here on this one, and that would replace that XOR 1 with that. And now 1 and 0 is 0, so that's still a legitimate gate to play. Okay, and now that I have a 0 and a 1, next turn I can play my XOR 1. So the next turn I draw this and 1. I can't play, I could have played that if I still had the other stuff, but I can't play that now because 0 and 1 is 0. But I can play this XOR 1 instead and win the game. Now, this is all assuming that my opponent didn't finish their pyramid first. All right, there are some other rules that we're going to show too. Okay, now if my opponent is winning, like in this situation here, you can't see it's off the screen, but they don't have their final card yet, but they're very close, and I only have this first row done here. I might like to try to hijack things by flipping these bits, and I can do that if I have a not card. So on my turn, instead of playing a gate or discarding or replacing, I can play a not to flip one of these bit cards, okay? Now I want to be careful about it. I want to try to cause as much trouble in my opponent's board and not cause a lot of trouble in my board, okay? So, for example, I could choose to flip this bit here, and that would flip it like that. Now, as soon as a bit is flipped, we have to look at all the gates and see which gates get destroyed. Any gate that is incorrect gets destroyed. So, for example, 1 or 0 is not 0, it's 1, so this gate would get destroyed. However, 1 or 0 is 1, so this gate would stick around. Okay? Now, there's still this gate doesn't get destroyed because it doesn't have an input. It sticks around. It's inactive, so my opponent cannot play off of it. They can't play off of it, but they would now need to play a new card here before they could start playing off of there. Good. And that new card may cause trouble. So for example, if they play this or 1 card there, now notice 1 XOR 1 is 0, not 1, so then this card would get destroyed. So that wouldn't be a good play for them there. It would be much better for my opponent if they could play an and 0, because 1 and 0 is 0, but also 0 XOR 1 is 1, so they're good to go. Okay. Now let's back up a little bit here. And let's play our knot on another bit to see what would happen, okay? If we played a knot on this bit here, okay, that would flip this bit, and this would cause a lot of problems. Now on my side here, 1 or 0 is still 1. We're still safe. But 0 or 1 is not 0, so that's gone. And 1 XOR 1 is not 1, so that's gone. This gate now has no inputs, so it gets removed as well. And that would decimate a lot of my opponent's board. Now, my opponent might see that. They might see that and say, hey, I don't want that to happen. So when I play my knot, they may reveal that they have a knot in their hand to counter my knot, okay? And then I would pull out my second knot here and say, aha, I have a second knot to overrule yours. Now, if they had a second knot also, then they could use that to stop it again. And this can go back and forth, each player playing as many knots as they want to try to make it happen. But in this case, if I played 2 and they just played 1, we would flip the bit and destroy a lot of their stuff. If they had the second one to prevent it, then all 4 of these cards would get discarded. Both players would draw back up to 4, and then it would be my opponent's turn because I just attempted to play the knot. Good. So knots can save you the game, but if your opponent is stacked with a bunch of them, they can also be used against you. Another thing knots can be used to do is to change the final goal. So if you're having trouble getting that 1 and you need to get to a 0, and you can safely flip this bit, now you're trying to build to a 0 with your pyramid, which may or may not be easier for you. So, and if you flip your opponent's bit, that changes what they're trying to do, and now they're going for a 1 instead of a 0. So that's another way knots can be used to influence the game. Other than that, that's the game of Boolio. You take turns playing gates, trying to build your pyramid. 4-card games, a 4-bit game is very fast. A 5-bit game takes about 10 minutes or so, and a 6-bit game can take quite a bit longer because it's quite a bit bigger. All right, have fun playing Boolio.